What's up, everybody, and welcome once again to the Endzone, brought to you by Gym Bag Entertainment, the show about football by guys who love football. As always, I'm your host, Craig, here with my co-host,
your boy Ace,
and we have a jam-packed show for you today. And as always, we're going to jump right into the injury report. Jalen Samuels is going to miss exactly 1 month. He had a knee scope. So that knee surgery is going to take him out for a month. Sterling Shepard once again back into concussion protocol after last week. Saquon Barkley will not play this week. They're holding him out at least one more week, but they're saying that his recovery is record-breaking for the high ankle sprain.
He's still young.
He is still real young, and he's a very strong guy. I expect him to make a speedy recovery, but for fantasy, I don't have him in a league that matters, so I want him to take as long as possible to return. Make it 6 to 8 weeks. That'll make me real happy. Vontaze Burfict, not injured, but suspended for the season for a dirty hit on Jake Doyle. He's also what's that word? He's going for an appeal right now. I don't think he gets it. I absolutely don't think he gets it. He's well known for dirty hits, so we'll see what happens. Mason Rudolph takes a blow to the head, out cold. I mean, homeboy had his finger extended. He did it. Yeah. They had to unscrew his face mask to get him oxygen. So he's definitely going to be out for at least 2 weeks.
And the hit was a clean hit. It was a football play. But when they slowed it down, you could see the helmet to helmet because of slow motion and stuff, but he was running kind of like forward. Mm-hmm. But the craziest thing about the whole situation is that like the injury cot broke down, so they had to walk him off the field.
That was mad weird. Like, how do you have billions of dollars and your cart, your ambulance cart, is broken? It's so lame. Yeah. But I'm glad he's okay. But he did get knocked out. I do agree with you though. I do believe it was a clean hit, and that the helmet happened to cross his chin, and but he got knocked out smooth. Sam Darnold he's cleared to make his return, healthy enough to play. I don't know if that means the Jets will get a victory this week because they're playing Dallas. If they beat Dallas, that would be amazing. So we'll see what happens there. Darius Leonard cleared concussion protocol. He's set to play. And finally, Kyle Juszczyk, the fullback for the 49ers, is out 4 to 6 weeks with an MCL sprain. No fantasy value there, but an undefeated team that utilizes the fullback just like the Patriots do. This is a huge cut into the 49ers offense.
Absolutely.
All right, that's our injury report for today, and on to the recap with Ace.
Here's the recap. So last night it was a really good game. San Fran played versus the Browns.
Yes. And
they beat the Browns 31-3. Some people was expecting this, some people wasn't. Like I mentioned it in our last episode that it was a big game for both teams, and San Fran came out on top. And we're going to get into it a little bit later, but it was a lot of exposure in that game. A lot of things got exposed for the Browns. So the Colts versus the Chiefs, nobody expected this win. The Colts won 19-13. They beat a banged-up Chiefs team. So, and that's no discredit to the Colts because they played a really good game, but they played the game the right way, whereas they pounded the rock. So
real well.
Yeah. So shout out to them. Shout out to Cousin Wood and his Green Bay Packers beating up on the Cowboys 34-24. That was an unexpected victory for a lot of folks. Yep. Unless you was a Green Bay fan, because a lot of people thought that was going to be the turn of the Cowboy season. And them taking that loss, they took 2 steps behind. So let's see how they bounce back. The Broncos versus the Chargers. The Broncos beat the Chargers 20-13. That was probably like the biggest upset of the week.
Might have been
one of them.
Yeah.
Besides KC.
I mean, I think the KC loss might have been the biggest upset, but that's still a huge upset.
Yes. Patriots won 33-7 in a really good game. The offense got to a slow start, but then they picked it up, came the second half, and they just poured it on them. Yep. Good call by Craig. I was thinking about it watching the game. Craig called it. Don't start Haskins. They didn't start him. So that was good. And good to see that with them. The Jaguars versus the Panthers. Craig loves Minshew, but he let him down.
No, the Panthers Minshew did not let them down.
34-7, Panthers won. How about the backup for the Panthers there? Allen?
Kyle Allen?
Yeah, we talked about him. He's awesome. Balling out of control.
Yeah, him and Christian McCaffrey put the team on their back.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely. And then the Ravens play versus the Steelers in a good game. Mm-hmm. That was a really good game. Steelers came out on top 26-23. We saw a gruesome hit, as some people would say.
Did you say the Steelers won?
No, the Steelers lost
26-23. Okay.
Don't be trying to boost.
I thought you said Steelers came out on top.
No, don't be trying to boost.
We're gonna go back to the tape.
Yeah, please do. The Falcons versus the Texans. The Texans put up 53 points versus the Falcons. The score was 53-32, high scoring game. Mm-hmm. Fireworks in that game. Another upset of the week. Oakland Raiders beat the Chicago Bears 24-21.
Wow.
That was a tough game right there.
It was, and I was shocked.
It shows you that defense wins championship, offense wins ball games, because both teams' defenses played really well.
Yeah,
really well. The Jets lost 6 to the Eagles 31. Eagles is always due to put up 30+ points, but they just put it on them.
And their defense. And it was like, I think did they have 2 defensive touchdowns? I know they had at least one.
Yeah.
The defense was definitely just annihilating this Jets team. So that was terrible.
The Cardinals play versus the Bengals. The Cardinals won 26-23.
Shout
out to my boy Kyler Murray for your first NFL official victory in no tie. Congratulations, my guy.
There it is.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers played versus the New Orleans Saints. The Saints won 34-21. I'm a believer of Teddy Bridgewater.
I am 100. I was not. I can admit I was not a believer in Teddy Bridgewater. I did not think he'd get the job done. Now I don't think he's going to lose a game until Drew Brees comes back.
So here's why I rebuttal against Craig and rub it in a little bit.
Oh.
Well, what did I tell you about that Saints team?
Yeah, man. You said that he can get it done with Teddy Bridgewater, man. You did say it. I can't deny that. I did not believe in him. I thought he'd be 500. I thought he'd go 500, but right now he's on a roll, and I don't think there's any stopping this kid, man. He's getting better with every game. You're starting to remember why he was a starting quarterback when he was in Minnesota.
Now let me ask you this question. If you're Teddy Bridgewater, do you get an extension after this year and stay with the Saints, or do you go somewhere else?
If the Saints guarantee me that either one, I'm starting next year and they're moving on from Drew Brees, or Drew Brees has one more year and I get the starting role, then I'll stay. If not, he needs to move on to a team that can utilize his talent, because he's a hell of a quarterback. I mean, it does have a lot to do with the coaching, but
system.
Yeah, he needs to be a starter. And it's interesting. Miami really wanted him, and I could see him going back to Miami and Miami using all those draft picks to build a team, sign some players, and build around Teddy Bridgewater. Mm-hmm. I could see that.
Interesting. Next up, we have the Minnesota Vikings played versus the New York Giants. Minnesota won 28-10. Minnesota they needed that bounce back win. That was a real big win for them. Real big. And Giants, Daniels missed a tough throw down the stretch.
Yeah.
It was like on the 8 to 10 yard line. He dropped back and threw it in the back of the end zone and just missed his receiver. If his receiver was about 6'10", he would have caught it, but he wasn't. So
no go.
No go. In the grind game, the Buffalo Bills beat the Tennessee Titans 14-7.
That's a shock right there.
Yeah, that was but it was a grind game. Mm-hmm. Both teams really grinded it out, 14-7.
Both teams have tough defenses.
Tough defenses going back and forth. Really good game. And another great game, the Seahawks play versus the Rams, and they beat the Rams 30-29.
That was MVP performance by Russell Wilson.
Yes, and there was a lot of there was a lot of upsets.
Yeah.
There was a lot of good games.
Yep.
There was a lot of, oh man, I just missed that by this much and that much. But, you know, all in all, it was a great weekend of football.
Absolutely. All right, now we have some relatively big news.
Hold on.
Oh, there was more?
What was your record?
Damn it. Thought I was going to get away with that one. So I'm not even going to go over my picks. I'm just going to tell you that the only game I got right was my boys, the New England Patriots, beating Washington Redskins and covering the spread. Every other, I did tie in two. I tied in two. I'm going to give myself that. I lost one by a half a point, but I definitely went 1 for 10. 1 and 9.
Wow. And Craig has the new Endzone record.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a pretty terrible week for me.
I bounced back from last week, as I told you I would.
Yeah, you
and
did.
Went 5 for 5. You know, I take that. Some really good games that I did win. Like, I point out my wins. My New England covered that 15.5 points. Carolina beat Jacksonville by that 3.5 points. Baltimore spread was 3.5, but I lost that game because of a half a point. Yeah. So that happened. Green Bay beat Dallas. Called that.
Can't believe you called that. That's bullshit.
Houston beat Atlanta. Called that one.
Okay.
And I called New Orleans over Tampa Bay.
Man, I see. So the New Orleans over Tampa Bay was like really like me just riding that Tampa Bay wave. I shouldn't have rode that wave that hard. But yeah, that's some good calls. We are now 21-20. So still room for Craig to take the lead after next week.
Comeback.
Now that we've gotten that out of the way, that little bit of embarrassment, let's move on to some new news.
New news.
New news. The Washington Redskins have officially made the move and fired Jay Gruden, bringing him in at 5 a.m. They brought the dude in at 5 a.m. to fire him. That's some disrespectful garbage right there. And they hired Bill Callahan as the new interim coach. How do you feel about this move?
It's tough because Gruden is a good coach.
Yep.
You know, so me personally, I could see him being an offensive coordinator somewhere. Because offense is his specialty. So I don't think he may be another head coach, but there's going to be a lot of jobs opening up. So I'm interested about that. But one thing I quote that he said in his interview when he got fired, he said he knew it was going to happen. He said, I can't remember the last time all my guys played. It's hard. The majority of our he said, majority of our payroll, we paid a lot of money and never had guys on the field. So with him saying that just says a lot to how his season's been over the last, 5 seasons he's been with them?
So I think it's been longer than that. I don't know how long it's been, but I know it's been a while. So
that's tough. But what struck me more interesting was that the candidates that they think for the job, with one being Michael Tomlinson, who you hate.
Yeah, who I hate.
And another one, Brian Leftwich.
Oh, Ryan Leftwich?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
And
Todd Bowles.
Todd Bowles.
So I like Todd Bowles.
Yeah.
I would like to be honest with you, I'd like to see Freddie Kitchens get fired and Todd Bowles go to Cleveland. I think Todd Bowles could kill it in Cleveland, but I think he can make something happen. I would hate to see Todd Bowles go to Washington if Washington's not going to give him the freedom to make some plays, because what he did with the Jets 2 years ago with the Jets with Josh McCown was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I think Todd Bowles deserves a chance with a team that's already ready to win. I think he can go and improve something. Look what he did to that Tampa Bay defense as defensive coordinator. The man is the man is a very good coach. I would hate to see him get stuck with that job. My problem with the firing of Jay Gruden is that you never gave this man an opportunity to win. You didn't give him the players to do it. Like, look at his wide receiver core. Their number one wide receiver is McLaurin, Scary Terry, and I think isn't he an undrafted free agent? Mm-hmm. Like, how is that your best wide receiver? I feel like he was given an unfair shake, and I'm pretty upset. I hope he goes to another team. Gets the either head coaching or offensive coordinator position, and then just dominates the crap out of that team. Fire the Cowboys coach, because that guy sucks. And give Jay Garrett, fire Garrett, Bring in Gruden, and then let Gruden dominate Washington 2 games a year for the next 5-10 years. Ah, man. The owner of the Washington Redskins is a terrible owner.
Yes.
So, enough of that rant. Zay Jones traded to Oakland for a 5th-round pick. What do you think about that?
Well, I think it's good for Oakland fans.
Yep.
And the only reason why I'm going to say it's good is because that they're still showing that they still believe that they can win.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
after beating the Bears, you got to believe it
yeah,
yourself.
so you got a lot of teams out there that feels like they're not competing. Like, you know, you got 4 teams in the NFL right now that hasn't won a game. So those teams feel like they're not even competing. You got Miami Dolphins, who's probably arguably one of the worst team in the league,
yep.
And you got guys that's running away from that team. So on the opposite end of things, with Oakland, they're showing their players and their community that they feel that they can still win and still compete. Mm-hmm. So by bringing in another receiver, which they do need, I think that can help them. He's not a bad receiver. Even though this season, this is his 3rd season in he's from East Carolina.
Yep.
Wide receiver, 3rd season in. He got 4 catches for 37 yards this year. And then out of his career of 36 games, he started in 27 games. He got 90 receptions for 1,000 yards and 9 TDs in 3 years. I don't think that's bad numbers, but
I know one of those seasons he was out for almost the whole season.
Yeah, so I don't think that's bad numbers, but I think he can benefit from Oakland and he can go out there and be okay.
I think Oakland could be a team that can revitalize his career, depending on how. Because I know you believe this, and I know I've always believed this. A large majority of a player's success is if the coach coaches him correctly. You find out what your player's skill set is, and then you take advantage of that. You know, you exploit him for his talents, and not try to make him do stuff that he can't do. I think he was improperly used over in Buffalo, and maybe they'll make a change over in the Raiders.
Yeah.
Some pretty cool news, because I think I know what's going to happen. The Broncos could possibly trade Emmanuel Sanders, and there is one team at the forefront, and that's my guys, the New England Patriots. They've been wanting him. They wanted him before he left the Steelers, but the Broncos offered him more money, and they're looking for that one more wide receiver to get him over the till. But with that being said, the Broncos trading Emmanuel Sanders could be a big move for them and whatever team does end up with them.
Yeah, that's tough. And I heard they was contemplating trading Von Miller too.
There was a rumor that they were willing to trade Von Miller, and then 2 days ago they squashed it.
Okay.
So yeah, that rumor.
I was about to say they trying to rebuild too over there. What's going on?
They until last week they were one of the 0-4 teams, 0-5 teams.
True.
So if they didn't beat Kansas City, they would be looking at a rebuild season as well. You know, they're trying to work around Drew Lock as soon as he can become healthy. They do have a run game, so maybe they just want to rebuild the whole system. I don't really know, but trading Emmanuel Sanders, this is the right time to do it, and a lot of teams could be looking to grab him up. Mm-hmm. Then the Bengals. This one I don't believe as much, but the Bengals are rumored to be wanting to trade away A.J. Green and Tyler Eifert, and coincidentally enough, the Patriots want both of these guys. I don't agree with that.
The Patriots have everybody, bro.
No. Whoa. You let me finish. I don't want the Patriots to make this trade. A.J. Green, when's the last time he played a whole season? 4 years ago? Tyler Eifert? Can you even remember the last time he played a whole season? No, I don't want either one of these guys. I was a little high on A.J. Green at one point, but then I really thought about it, and I'm like, yeah, we might get him back by week 10. And then, yeah, he's
still a dangerous receiver, but the thing about it, the reason why he stays injury prone, because he has to do so much for that team. Mm-hmm. So that's what stops him. But if he was to get traded to another team, I think he can still produce.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be mad if we got A.J. Green. But I'm not. I would if they said, who do you want, A.J. Green, Emmanuel Sanders? I'm going Emmanuel Sanders. But I'm just saying what the word around the street is that Patriots are vying after both of those guys. But I've also heard that the Bengals are really tight about trading. You know, even when they are rumored to want to trade someone, they make a big deal about it and they don't end up not trading. So we'll see what happens with that. Also on, the proverbial trading block, Stephon Diggs has requested a trade. What do you think about that?
like Minnesota is tough out there right now. Cousins ain't doing what he's supposed to be doing.
No.
He got receivers mad at him right now because of his gameplay. That's the only thing that they are missing out there is a decent quarterback, and that's what's killing them for being like a top ranked competitive team is that. So I understand his frustration and anger due to the fact that he wants to get out of there. So I know 20 teams in the NFL that could use him. So
I know one team that could use him.
Yeah, I bet.
And that's the New England Patriots, baby. If we got Stephon Diggs,
oh my God,
we'd have him for the next 2-3 years, and we would not lose, man. Stephon Diggs is just so dynamic, but I don't think that we could give up because I think we'd have to give up a second and a third round draft pick for Stephon Diggs. I don't think that we could get him, but I would love for him to come over to the Patriots and wear that, that red, blue, and silver. It'd be wonderful. Hate all you want. But
it's not hating. You want everybody over there. That's what I'm saying.
Why wouldn't I want everybody?
We named 3 people on the block, and you're like, oh, they're going to be a Patriot.
I want 2 of them.
They're going to be a Patriot. This is going to be a Patriot.
Just 2.
She's going to be a Patriot. He going to be a Patriot. We all going to be Patriot. Whatever.
Damn right, man. Patriots Nation, baby. We all won. But I know Emmanuel Sanders is definitely high on the list for the Patriots, and I know that they would like to get their hands on Diggs as well. But a lot of teams could use I think there's a lot of teams who would really benefit from Stephon Diggs, and the first team that comes to mind if they want to get back into playoff contention is the San Diego Chargers. I could see that working out real well. Him alongside with Keenan Allen. All right, next on the list, there's only 2 undefeated teams left in the NFL. 2 of them, and both quarterbacks come from the same roster. And we know who are they? Tell me who they are. Oh, it's the New England Patriots and the San Francisco 49ers.
But one guy you're going to ride his wave and you don't even like him.
Who, Jimmy Garoppolo?
Yeah. So don't ride the wave now because he's undefeated.
Oh.
You didn't like him. Didn't. When I was telling you about San Fran, you're like, no.
Yes, I agree with you because
now that they're undefeated, now you want to give them a shout out.
Let's look at this game. Let's look at these games, right? Is Jimmy Garoppolo winning these games, or is San Fran's defense and Matt Breida winning these games?
He's winning those games because he's still throwing touchdown passes in all those games. So he's doing something.
I feel you.
He's controlling. He's a NFL quarterback controlling an NFL game. So he is doing something.
Do you think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to win playoff games?
We shall see. With that team looks good. I
think that this team is amazing. I do think that the defense is what's keeping them is what's giving them the victories. And on top of that, the run game is incredible. Matt Breida is looking like an all-star running back. But I am not on the Jimmy Garoppolo hype train. I'm just on the hype train that he came from New England. But I am definitely not riding his wave. But you know whose wave I am riding? That's TB12 leading his team. I will say this, and I'm going to shit on the Patriots a little bit right now, just for you. We have not played a worthy team yet. We have not been competed against at a high level. But after what I saw in the Kansas City game and the Dallas game, I am no longer worried about our schedule. I think every game.
But why though?
Because Dallas has been playing like doo-doo, and Kansas City.
But a team like Dallas can always.
Yeah, they can come back. They can come back, especially now that they got Mike Gallup back. They can come back all day.
Teams play harder when they're playing versus a team like the Patriots.
Oh, of course. Everybody plays harder when they play the Patriots.
And Kansas City
exposed themselves. They're
not necessarily. You can't say that now because in that game,
Marlon Mack ran all over them.
But in that game, they had 9 injuries.
Oh yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So, yes, he did run all over them, but they also was banged up. But we're not going to use that banged up excuse. That's the only thing. But you could throw that out there like, hey, we had 9 people injured. 3 of them was on the defensive line.
Yeah.
And you get what I'm saying? So I
don't know what week we play Kansas City. I think it's like week 10. If that offensive line ain't at full health,
that's why
Patrick Mahomes is in trouble.
That's why I love the fact that the coach, I'm mad that the coach won, but on the other side, on the flip side, I'm happy that the coach won because they did what you're supposed to do, beat up a hurt team.
Yeah.
And what they do to beat up a hurt team, they ran them. They didn't go out there and try to throw passes and let them gain their breath and stuff like that. No, we're going to run the ball and run the ball and run the ball and control this clock and keep on running it because they're all banged up, they're all tired, they're all hurting. And that's how we're going to beat them. And that game plan that they had, they executed on it, and I give them full credit.
All right. Well, now it's about so now that it's down to 2. Who lasts the longest? You know I'm always going to say New England.
Yeah, I'm going to say New England. The Pats play the Giants on Thursday night.
Yep.
So they're going to beat up on them.
They have an easy schedule going right up until week 9. But then
San Fran's playing
the Rams. And
the Rams is kind of...
Are they going to lose 2 games in a row?
It's tough.
That's a tough one. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. And now that we've talked about the undefeated teams, let's talk about the teams with no wins at all. We got 4 teams with no wins. 2 of them in our division. Jets, Miami, Redskins, and Jets, Miami, Redskins. Bengals. Oh, my God. Now, we know that at least one of these 2 teams is guaranteed a victory. Washington plays Miami.
Yep.
Who do you think wins that game?
I love Washington.
You love Washington?
I love Washington to win this game. I think they're going to win it. Washington just looks better than Miami as a team. Better
defense.
Yeah. And now that they fired their coach, sometimes with that interim coach, they get rolling because, even though it's the same schemes and everything, it's a different voice. And sometimes when you have a different voice telling you what to do and how to do it, sometimes you respond differently. So I do like Washington to win that game.
I will say this, though. That team loved Jay Gruden. I think you're going to have a morality problem.
It could be that too. It could go either way. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? It could go either way.
I think Washington's going to win, but I think this is going to be a tough matchup because I think they're going to be morally depleted after losing Jay Gruden. Did you see the interview with Chris Thompson?
Yeah.
Homeboy couldn't say 3 words at a time, collectively, because he was just beside himself.
Jay Gruden is a player's coach.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of his players relate to him because he's a player's coach. And anytime you have someone that's a player's coach, it's hard to lose because he's always there for you and he's not treating the team like a business. Yeah. He's treating the team like a family.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
But on the other note, the Cowboys is playing versus the Jets, so I think the Jets is going to lose that.
Oh, yeah.
So I would say, and then
Cincinnati plays the Baltimore Ravens.
And I think they're going to lose that one.
Yeah.
So in reality, there will be Dolphins will be 0-5.
And the other 2 will be 0. Well, Jets will be 0-5, and then Cincinnati 0-6.
I think Miami might tank the season.
Do you think out of those 3 teams, there's a victory to be had?
Yeah, I think. Jets.
Well, Jets have to face Miami twice.
Yeah, and Jets is 0-5, and going into week 8, they're playing the Jaguars, and
you think that's a game they can win?
I think that's a game they can win.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. I think that
because you got to think about it over the next 2 weeks, they're going to play the Cowboys and the Pats.
Yeah.
Good. It's going to be good for them to get those games in, versus high-quality teams. Mm-hmm. And then that following week after that, you're playing versus the Jaguars, so you should be ready to go.
Hopefully.
And the Bengals will be 0-6, and then they play. And I think they may have a chance. I think they may have a chance to either.
Who do they have? Anybody you think they can beat?
Well, they play Jacksonville.
Okay.
I don't think they'll beat Jacksonville in that one. And then they play the Rams. Then they got a bye, and then they play the Ravens.
Okay.
So I think it's tough.
The Jets, they do play after the Jaguars. If they don't beat the Jaguars, they have the Dolphins right after that. But then they face the Redskins 2 weeks after that. So if they don't beat the Jaguars, they're most likely going to beat the Dolphins. And if they don't, for some reason, beat the Dolphins, then they got the Redskins and the Jets play the Bengals.
Yeah,
that'd be funny if the Jets remain with losses until they face
each other.
Until they face the Bengals and the Bengals have losses. That'll be interesting to see what happens there. But I don't think we've ever gotten this far into the season and had 4 teams without a win.
Yeah, that's tough.
That's crazy. That's pretty bad. I mean, NFL has had a really tough year this year, but we've also had some great games, so we'll see what goes on further from there. But I think this was pretty crazy. 49ers come back from a bye week to beat down the Cleveland Browns. And this was exactly what I just called it, a beat down. They punked them. Let's talk about that.
You know, I've been on my San Fran wave.
Mm-hmm. You are.
That was one of my underdog. That was the underdog for me this season that I said I was going to ride. Craig's underdog was Cleveland. He said he was going to ride. And they meet, and then, you know, my underdog wins.
Yeah.
It always happens that way somewhere. But
whoa,
the biggest thing about it, Craig, is how bad Cleveland really looks. This was one of my styles of the week. I said this was going to be the game of the week because both teams really needed to win.
Yep.
So I thought it was going to be a close game. I did have San Fran winning, but I had them winning a close game. Mm-hmm. Not that type of score.
No.
Not the score that happened.
That was shocking.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if it was now after it happened. I'm not sure if it was a better win for San Fran or a worse loss for Cleveland.
Oh, I 100% believe it was a worse loss for Cleveland. One, it's now a thing. Your offensive line can't stop a sneeze.
Yes.
That's absolutely terrible. Baker Mayfield has no ability to look off his wide receivers. He's gonna, if he's throwing you the ball, he's gonna stare you down, and then the interception's coming. And it's just, I don't know.
He let O.G. Sherman pick him off.
This was bad, man. This was a bad game for Cleveland. Like, I am absolutely disappointed in this team as a whole. I don't know what's going on here. Like, if you know that you got to throw on the run, like, let's get some. I felt like they were trying to go downfield, knowing that they can't go downfield.
Yeah, and the brother that we don't like,
Nick Bosa, the guy who just dominated that game. I freaking hate that dude. Like, it made me so mad that he did so incredible in that game. Like, straight monster.
But even though we don't like you on this show, props to you because you did play really well.
You are a dog, son. You was killing it. You look better than your brother.
And double teams, everything.
Yo, nothing was stopping Nick Bosa.
But my thing about that is I don't want to give him too much credit because he's been quiet all year. Mm-hmm. And I think he just was up for this game because he was playing versus Baker Mayfield. And he felt like he owed him one.
Yeah.
So Baker has that target on his back with a lot of teams and a lot of players in the league that teams is going to be coming after him. So I think Bosa more so played just for this game.
Oh, yeah.
I want to see what he does in the next 3-4 games to see if we could compare what he did this game.
He got a tough game going up against them Rams, boy.
Yeah.
If you can do that against Jared Goff, then, I'll be a believer. I'll hate the hell out of you, but I'll be a believer, and I will give you all the props that you deserve. So that's going to be a tough one, but that was just an embarrassing loss. You got one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, and I think he caught like 4 passes the whole game and threw a pass better than you. You know what I'm saying? Like, OBJ is playing quarterback better than Baker Mayfield. It's pretty sad. So we'll see what happens. And then, to me, the biggest upset of the week, Indianapolis Colts knocking Kansas City out of that undefeated reign. Like you said, this was a beat up team. Offensive line hurt. Patrick Mahomes hurt, and the run game was just working.
Watkins hurt.
Everybody.
Run game's not working. But we did, again, you guys got to watch the end zone all the time because we talk about this stuff and stuff just happens because me and Craig talked about this last week. Out of all the undefeated teams that was left, who has the best chance of staying undefeated? Yeah. And we kind of talked about this was like a question mark game because we're not sure if they're looking ahead to the next weeks that they got because we know they got some tough games the next weeks ahead. And this one was actually a squeak by game to prepare for the other games that they got.
Correct.
We do know that they was hurt, so we just can't use any excuses or anything, but
I was actually surprised when you was talking about Kansas City's road, right? Obviously the first team you mentioned, because it was the next team up, was Indy, and you was like, oh, it's a tough game. And in my head, I'm like, is it though? Is it though? Yes. Like, I don't know that. I'll give it to Patrick Mahomes. He hurt his ankle for the second time this year. It was pretty bad, pretty messed up injury, getting his ankle stepped on. But what makes Patrick Mahomes is his mobility. You take away his mobility, you know.
But you can't be mobile with a hurt ankle.
Yeah.
But here's what people are missing. Let's dive into this for a minute or two.
Let's do it.
The Colts team, right?
Yep.
I think me and you was probably the only believers on any show, on anything that said Brissett will do good.
Yes.
We did say that.
We like him.
So we liked him. But what a lot of people forget was this team was built around an Andrew Luck style of play.
Yeah.
Brissett, you see he gets the ball out quick.
Yep.
He can run. He can read. He can check down. He's played behind Tom Brady.
And
he's played behind Andrew Luck. He's a leader. So it's like you're not kind of like missing a beat with him there.
No.
And he's just proven to the people. And then something like, you know, you always look for signs. What's the sign that this guy is good? The sign to me that he was good when they offered him the millions of dollars once Luck was like, I'm done. He's like, this is the guy that I'm going with right here. And we talked about that when you said, hey, why is he getting all this money right now? And what we say, because you got to show that you believe in him.
And you want to get him at the, you may be giving him all that money, but you're getting him at a discount right now.
Yes.
If they'd have waited to the end of the season, oh man, believe that price would have been up by at least $5 million.
So some of these, so what I'm saying by all this is some of these games that the Colts play, they're going to grind it out. Every game they play is a coin flip.
Yeah.
50% they can win, 50% they can lose.
This is true.
Because they're that caliber of type of team, you know? They got a great run game.
Oh, yeah.
They have a great pass game, and they play great on defense. So it's like you're not missing nothing with the Colts. I'm not surprised by anything that they're doing and the wins that they're going to get because I know they're going to beat a couple teams and surprise. But it's going to be like surprise to everybody else. But to me, it's like you're not looking at the depth of this Colts team. And I would never, and me personally, honestly, I would never look into the depth of a lot of teams if we didn't start this show and we went back and we went through every single team in the NFL. And we went in as what we're the GMs and what they need and what they don't. So seeing all this stuff happen and play out, it's easier to call these games now. And it's easier to say what's going to happen and things like that because we already diagnosed all this stuff before it even really happened. And you got to watch the show in order to get the knowledge. And if you're not watching the show, you're not getting the knowledge.
There it is.
It's always filmed and it's pre-filmed, so you can't say on Sunday, hey, these guys said this and they're watching it. Like, no, this is live on Tuesday. You know, like days after. Yeah.
Exactly. So, all right. And now we have another crazy beat. This one, you know, I feel like this was a surprise, but also could be expected. You called it. Green Bay beat the Dallas Cowboys to bring the Cowboys to 3-2. I mean, I was blown away that, you know, Dak Prescott couldn't get anything going. I mean, you know, he did get down the field here and there, but I mean, Green Bay was all over them. What'd you think?
Aside from the game, I got a better question for you.
Yeah.
Because we were stuck on this topic for a long time. And, you know, I like to bring back old stuff just in case they do playbacks or whatever. So now the question to you is, that was a good game. I called it. I'm not going to rub it in there for that one. But if you're the GM, where do you go from here with Dak? Because he wants his money. He wants to get paid. But his play is kind of declining.
I mean,
in big games and stuff like that. And this is why I say people like Melvin Gordon and people like Zeke are smart for sitting out. Get that money now because who knows how that season can be and your price drop. And right now I feel like his price is dropping.
Oh, his price is going down. He went from, you know, we might give you $30 million a year because of what's going on here. But now you just lost to Green Bay and you lost to the Saints the week before. You're looking like $25 million a year now, bro.
And the Saints team with no Breeze.
Yeah. You want that big contract, you got to get those big wins. And you lost the two biggest games of the season for yourself. I mean, there was no bigger game than going up against the Saints. And then just as big of a game going up against Green Bay. You lost them both. You just proved that you can't win it. You just showed that you couldn't win against the two teams that you're most likely to see in the playoffs. And that, to me, is a problem. I'm glad that you did bring that up. I mean, I don't think we never thought Dak Prescott was worth the money he's asking for. And right now, you know, $25 million to me is still a big ask.
It is.
It's a big ask.
15, 10.
I'd say between 15 and 18 a year.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
just because he's a quarterback, the quarterbacks get paid.
Am I going to pay you more than Jacoby Brissett right now?
No.
I might pay you what Jacoby Brissett's making, but if I brought Jacoby Brissett over to the Cowboys, who would be better? Would it be you or would it be Jacoby Brissett? I'm not going to answer that question. But you know, we said, you know, if these quarterbacks were on this team, let's take some of the lower paid quarterbacks, and if they were on Dallas Cowboys, what would happen? We'd like to see. But that was a great victory for Green Bay, and they're showing that they're ready to. You know, I definitely one of those people who didn't believe in Green Bay this year. I didn't have them making the playoffs. You did, and they're now looking like they're going to make that run.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. All right. In more news, Ben Watson gets cut by the New England Patriots. Still gets his $600 million guaranteed. I kind of feel bad for that guy. $600,000. $600 million. Holy shit. Yeah, he gets $600,000 guaranteed. I feel bad for the guy. He retired. Patriots ask him to come back from retirement. Gets suspended for using the PEDs to get ready to come back from retirement. Comes back. Only to get cut from the team.
Well, that's not a bad cut because
I don't think so.
I don't think it's a bad cut because at the end of the day, the Patriots brought him from retirement, from playing golf and chilling. Who cares? Who knows? And then, you know, he tried to do whatever he had to do to get right. He couldn't get right. He still gets paid, and that's it. So it's not a bad cut. It's not like it's the end of the world for him. He actually was doing the Pats a favor, and the Pats did him a favor by paying him.
Yeah, you just got $600,000 to work out.
To work out.
And not with the team. On your own, because when you're suspended, you can't work out with the team. So they paid you $600,000 to get in shape just in case they needed you. They decided they didn't, and you got a paycheck.
And they did that just to open up the roster too a little bit, just in case if they need to make any moves.
In case they want to get Emmanuel Sanders, they need the salary cap, and that opens up $2 million. Also, Tyreek Hill set to return this week. It's not 100% guaranteed, set in stone or anything, but this could be the week Tyreek comes back, and they
need him.
They can't need him any more than they need him right now.
Yes.
So this is an exciting return if it does happen, and especially if he's 100% good to go. And then finally, Trent Williams still holding out. You know, he wants to be traded. He says he will not play for the Washington Redskins. He's losing money every week. So let's see what happens with that.
He's a 7-time Pro Bowler. You think he personally cares about losing money?
I don't think he does. I don't think he does.
He's paid.
There's a lot of teams offering first-round draft picks for him. None other than the New England Patriots, who we need him. It's not I want him. It's we need him. We need offensive line help.
Other teams need more help.
I don't care about anybody other team.
Yeah.
I care about my New England Patriots, baby. Trent Williams, come on. All right. Now we move on to top 10 picks of the week versus the spread. Get your pens and paper ready, and it's time for it to go down. Take it away.
Just read my 10, right?
Go ahead. Go all the way.
Carolina +2 versus Tampa Bay. I like Carolina. Right, that's right. They play each other this week, yeah.
Tampa Bay and Carolina,
yeah. New Orleans +1 versus Jacksonville. Teddy. Done did it again.
Amen.
So I'm going New Orleans. Dallas is -8.5 versus the Jets. I got to go Dallas. Dallas got to bounce back off that loss.
Absolutely.
Pittsburgh versus Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers is -6.5. I love the Chargers. They got to bounce back. And plus, Pittsburgh is on their third-string quarterback.
Yeah, it's true.
Detroit is playing versus Green Bay. Green Bay is -4.5. I love Green Bay right there. Green Bay is just showing everybody that they're the real deal. Washington is -3.5 versus Miami. As you heard earlier, I really like Washington this week, so I'm going to go with Washington. Cincinnati is playing versus Baltimore. Baltimore is -11.5. We already talked about it earlier in the show. We don't believe in Cincinnati, so I like Baltimore -11.5 and Cincinnati to stay with 0 wins. San Fran is +3.5 versus the Rams. I love San Fran, so I'm going San Fran +3.5. Take the points. I think the points is going to play a major key. I don't see this being more than a 2-point game either way it goes. Seattle's playing versus Cleveland. Seattle's -1.5. The only reason why I touched this game because I like to put my hand on fire, and I'm going with Seattle right there. I just don't believe in Cleveland right now. I know that's Craig's second to third team or whatever you want to call it, but I just don't believe in them guys and what these guys is bringing to the table. And last but not least, Atlanta is -3.5 versus Arizona. My guy Kyler, you got your dub already, so I rooted you up and cheered you up all the way until you got your first win. But I think Atlanta is more needy in this one, and I think this is one that Atlanta can steal. So I'm going to go Atlanta right here.
Definitely agree with you there. All right, for me, I agree with you on a handful of these bad boys. Green Bay versus Detroit. Detroit's getting 4.5. I got to go with Green Bay in this game. New Orleans versus Jacksonville. Jacksonville's -1. I definitely got to go with New Orleans. Kansas City going up against Houston. Houston's getting 5 points, and I like Kansas City for the bounce back, especially if they get Tyreek Hill back. I think that this is going to be a high-flying game, and I think it comes down to who has the ball last. I think Kansas City scores. Seattle versus Cleveland. Cleveland's getting 1.5, and you know my boy Cleveland is going to lose, so I got to go with Seattle in this game. I can't ride Cleveland anymore. And when it comes to picking, I can still want them to win, but I don't necessarily have to believe it's going to happen.
Smart man.
Yes. Washington going up against Miami. Even though I think this is going to be a tough game, I think Washington has enough weapons to cover this spread, and I definitely believe that they get the victory. Atlanta versus Arizona, with Arizona getting 2.5 points, I have to go with ATL. Way more weapons and a more seasoned quarterback. Dallas versus the Jets. Jets are getting 7.5. That is not enough points. I think that this should have been upped to maybe 10.5 points. Dallas is going to dominate, especially coming out of a bad loss. Tennessee versus Denver. Denver is -2.5. I think Tennessee's defense is too strong for this Denver offense. I go with Tennessee. San Fran against the Rams. Rams are -3.5. I think the Rams can win this game, but I think it's going to be like win by a field goal type of game. I think San Fran loses their undefeated record, but but like I said, by 3 points.
So they cover the spread.
So I'm going to go with San Fran because they'll cover the spread. And then Minnesota versus Philly. Philly's getting 3 points. I think Minnesota takes this game.
Yeah, we got 6 of the same.
I know we
picks.
do. So no matter what, you can only get 4 better than me. Yeah. I don't think that you will. I think I'll win those 4. All righty. Top 5 picks. Let's go 1 for 1. I will start by saying Vikings versus the Eagles. Going to be a bomb game. I might even call it game of the week.
Well, it's like Philly's been hot.
Yeah.
The last 2 weeks they've been hot.
Yeah.
They started off the season losing 2 games or whatever, but then they've been hot. Minnesota's been struggling. And they're struggling in that QB position, so Cousins got to step up. You saw that Adam Thielen called them out. Adam Thielen called them out. Once Adam Thielen called them out this week, he had 6 catches, 170, 50, 60 yards,
he went off.
2 TDs, went off. But you got 2 of your receivers, one calling you out, one wants a trade. You got to get right. Something got to get right in Minnesota. There's some type of turmoil, so I agree with you. It's going to be a tough one in Minnesota. For me, that Houston versus KC game. KC's banged up right now, so we don't know what KC team we're getting, whether they're healthy or they're almost healthy or halfway healthy. But Houston's coming off putting up 50 points. It doesn't matter who they was playing. They still put up 50 points in an NFL game.
True.
So we got to see what inspires from there.
All right. Next on the list for me is Pats versus Giants, the rivalry game. We'll always have that rivalry versus the Giants, and I think that they're gonna play us tough. I don't think this is gonna be. That's why I didn't have the Patriots in my top 10
You don't
picks.
see them on me either.
Yeah, man. I think the Patriots are gonna beat them, but I don't know if they're gonna dominate them by the point spread.
And it's a Thursday night game. Remember that.
Exactly. Only 5 days rest. It's going to be a tough one, but I do like the Pats in this game. I just don't know by how much they're going to win, so I couldn't put them in my picks, my top 10 picks.
For me, next up is Seattle versus Cleveland. I really want to see what will Cleveland do because Cleveland, there's been a lot of talks about Cleveland all year. All season. They've been having a lot of TV time, playing on TV damn near every week. They're not winning games, but the biggest thing about Cleveland right now is OBJ's not in the media. He's not being bad-mouthing nobody or nothing like that.
He's just been
so
keeping
I give
quiet.
him credit. He's been keeping it quiet, but something got to shake in Cleveland unless they're going to shake trees and someone's going to be gone.
Baker Mayfield needs to stop making commercials and stop playing football.
Absolutely.
All right. I have to put this game in there. Redskins versus the Dolphins. You got two teams, no wins. One team has to win. Both these teams are going to come out slugging. Washington's going to want that moral victory. And I don't know what the Dolphins are going to do, but I can't believe NFL players are going to go out there and not try their hardest. So I think that because of the implications of this game, it's going to be a great game to watch.
That was on the mind. So last up for me, I got San Fran versus the Rams. We didn't mention that one, right?
Nope.
So San Fran versus the Rams. I believe that San Fran will remain undefeated. There's just something about this Rams team this year that I just don't agree with, and I just don't know what it is. I'm just looking. I got to watch them a lot more because I just don't feel like they're the same Rams team that we watched over the last couple years. But that's just me, considerably. San Fran has a great defense. They got, 6 first-round picks on that defense?
Yeah.
They're balling. Offense is playing well. They're running the ball well. San Fran, to me, right now, I'm just saying right now, week 5 in the NFL, San Fran looks like the most complete team all around every level right now.
Yep. The only thing they don't have is an all-star wide receiver. That's it.
But their run game speaks volumes for their pass game.
And
so when you have a good run game, so when you have a good run game like that, you don't need no threats at receiver because you could just dump it off to anybody because now the defense is on edge. Are they running? Are they passing?
Exactly.
And that's when you hit them with the good old play action and let them decide whether you're running or passing.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
And I want to answer your question. With the Rams, the problem is their defense ain't scary no more. Their defense ain't what it was last year and ain't what it was the year before that. Aaron Donald is a lonely man right now. Marcus Peters is over the hill. Hakeem Talib is not an island anymore. And their linebackers were suspect last year. Clay Matthews is old, man. Like, as much as you love him.
I was going to ask you, with that team right there, I believe that you caught a lot of them over the last 2 years when they're always playing well. You caught them at the end of their prime.
Yep.
And now 2 years later, they can't give you that same production because it's almost like it's over with them.
Yep.
All them guys in the Rams is almost like the graveyard right now. They're just grinding it out for another year or two and they'll all be done.
Well, I don't know what's going to happen with this team, but they
think about it. Yeah. Look at Talib. He's been in the league how long?
A long time. 10
plus, 10, around
At
there,
least
whatever.
10. Same for Marcus Peters.
Marcus Peters, same thing. Clay Matthews, been in the league. Longer. Who else they got over there?
I don't know about, I don't even know, man. Robert Woods has been playing for a while. He's still playing well,
Woods
though.
a while.
I don't even know anybody. One of their offensive tackles is like he's as old as Tom Brady.
Yeah, so.
He's listed in the NFL's top 100, but homeboy is old. He's definitely in it. He's definitely in his early 40s, maybe late 30s. But I don't know. I think people figured out their defense because if you look at it, it's not like they're getting. And there's another thing I wanted to say. This is what I just remembered. I think that they're hungover. I think they're Patriots hungover from getting beat in the Super Bowl. Look at the teams that get beat in the Super Bowl. Atlanta Falcons have not recovered. They were the best team in the NFL the year they go to the Super Bowl. They didn't even make the playoffs last year. The Eagles, they made the playoffs, got knocked out in the first round last year. Had an 0-2 start to the beginning of the season. Now they're starting to come back. I think that, there's just that hangover from losing to the Patriots in the Super Bowl sometimes that messes teams up. So, it is what it is, but we'll see what happens. My game, one more game I have for top 5. Oh, well, I have 2 more games for top 5. Is Lions versus the Packers. It's a divisional matchup. Both teams playing really well on defense. I'd like to see how that game pans out. I think the Packers take this game, but I think this is going to be a hard-fought game on both sides of the ball.
Remember when I was the GM of the Packers and I told you about that defense?
Yeah,
beautiful thing.
That defense has come together. They did what they needed to do. They put that defense together, and it's really strong. And then finally, Panthers versus the Bucks. I think this could be an awesome game.
It's gonna be awesome because you never know what Bucks team you're gonna get, and the Panthers is playing to the moon, you know. So, it's good. It's good. It's good both ways because either way, it's gonna be a high-scoring game.
Yep.
But I think the Panthers really look at McCaffrey. He got what? More yards than Zeke, and
he's the number one running back.
McCaffrey got. I was looking at it earlier. He got more yards than Zeke and Gurley put together in touchdowns right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Put together.
That's great. But I believe it with because Gurley hasn't been playing. He hasn't been playing well. But wow, that's tough. That's real tough. Christian McCaffrey's just balling out, though. You know what's crazy? And I meant to bring this up when we were talking about the Indy-Kansas City game. You know, I think before that game happened, Jacoby Brissett was this one of the two leading touchdown passers in the NFL. He had 10 touchdown passes. It was him and somebody else. I don't think it was Mahomes, but him and someone else were the top 2 touchdown passes in the NFL.
Bro. He's a vet.
He is, man.
People forget that.
He's an awesome football player, and he's doing big things. He looks so much better than the guy they had 2 years ago.
And shout out to guy at Green Bay, the running back there, who had 3 touchdowns.
Aaron Jones.
Wasn't
it 4? It was 4 touchdowns.
4. I'm sorry.
4 rushing. Aaron Jones is.
Oof.
Yo, man, that dude is a monster.
Wow.
Yo, for a small dude, man, he's grinding it out. And even Matt Breida looked really good. Matt Breida's coming out of the woodwork.
That 83-yard touchdown was something nice.
Every running back's getting 83 yards. Everybody's getting 83 yards right now. It's unbelievable, man. I'm loving the games the way these games are going, man. People are showing out. You know, teams you don't expect to win are winning. Teams you don't expect to lose are losing.
Because everything is going in the right direction because you got, sorry to say, but you got some quarterbacks that got hurt. So that made the league open up more. So it's like, we no longer fear this team without this quarterback, so therefore we got to play. But then you also got teams where their quarterback got hurt, and it's like, we still got to fear them because they got weapons.
Yep.
Weapons. And both sides of the things is being exposed right now, so you never know. That's why it's so tough to pick. If we had, our results will probably be a lot different if we was to pick this on a Friday or a Saturday than a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Because the simple fact is so many things come into play, so many things change.
Yeah.
And you never know.
You never know what's going to happen, so we'll see how it goes. All right, well, that's the time we have for you today. Make sure you always check out our show, Gym Bag Entertainment, on YouTube. Just found out the other day that we're going to start airing in Cambridge, Massachusetts, on public access television. We're expanding the world. But definitely always check us out on YouTube. Like, share, and subscribe. Check out our other shows, the Flex and Tail of the Tape. But until next week, see you in the end zone. Have a good night.